Urban 2456.
Ho ho ho! It is the State of the Save holiday special.
Yay!
With special guest, Michael. How you doing, Michael?
I don't think I'm a special guest if I'm just here all the time.
We're doing a bit, Michael. Quick, salvage the bit.
Hi, special guest here, never before seen on the show, Michael here.
Hey, thank you for coming to my cabin today. I'm your host, Eric. Welcome to the State of the Save holiday special. It would have been great if I would have warned Michael about my bit, but instead I came up with it on the fly.
That's how these usually go.
Oh, welcome everybody. It's the holiday season. Hope you are enjoying your festive time of year as we progress towards 2023 and another year of avoiding doom and destruction.
We avoid it for one whole year again.
Every year on December 31st, we flip off of the universe and go, fuck you, universe, we lived through another one. But as we progress towards the next year and we celebrate the holiday season, it's always fun to look back on all the cool stuff we did over this year and all the fun video games we played and this, that, and the other. So that's what this is. It's the holiday special. Starting off, thank you everybody who listened this year. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the next year. Going to be interesting. There's a lot of fun stuff we've been holding on to that hopefully will be launching next year. But thank you everybody who's listened. Send in your feelings on 2022 and your favorite stuff from 2022 to stateofthesave@gmail.com or put it on at State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things, you know. Yeah, do that. So let's get into it. Michael.
Yes.
As I'm pounding coffee to try to wake up tonight, it's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year. I feel like I say that every year. But it's been a fun year, you know. It was better than the last one.
Yeah.
It was definitely better than the year before
We
that.
don't.
I feel like in a post-2020 year, you can always be like, well, it wasn't as bad as it used to be. But there's been a lot of cool stuff, a lot of good video games. I feel like game releases has started to ramp back up post-COVID.
Yes, we're finally at the time. 2021 had some interesting highlights for me just because hopping on a next-gen system, playing the new stuff that were coming out, it had the new console shine and everything. This year, after Elden Ring came out in February, there was not a lot really hitting for me except places on the indie space, but now it seems like there's a lot just in the past few weeks coming out, down to the wire, throwing their games out before the end of the year.
I feel like we're getting back and looking into 2023. I feel like we're getting back to that point where there's going to be hot stuff coming out every couple of months. Well, for a while there, it was kind of a drought. And it was just because, hey, everybody had to figure out how to make video games in a lockdown ward, you know? And, but I feel like, yeah, we're kind of ramping back up now, which is exciting. It's been a good year for games. I think next year is going to be really cool, but I think this year still was pretty solid. There's a lot of cool stuff that came out. There's a lot of stuff from this year that I missed. And there's a lot of stuff that came out this year that I did play. What's some highlights for you? What's some stuff that you really, really enjoyed this year?
Well, I'm going to touch on the big one. Elden Ring was the big one that got me this year. Probably the biggest game in terms of scope that I've definitely played this year. And it's just something that I was very excited for that lived up to everything I wanted it to be. And even though I haven't finished it yet, I know I can just dip back in at any time as they expand on it. And there's still a lot of game that I haven't seen yet, so that's always exciting to it's there I can go back to at any moment.
I think I said it. It was weird to say that it's my game of the year, and I don't quite know if it actually is just my personal game of the year, but it's definitely on my top 5 of the year. And I'm like you, I haven't finished it, but I spent so much time in it. It's an accomplishment. It really is. I played Dark Souls. I wasn't a Souls guy. I didn't play all of the Dark Souls. I didn't play Bloodborne. But this one really just hooked me, and I think it was the kind of movement to open world and the ability to be like, hey, I'm banging my head against this and I can't beat it. I'm going to come back later. That ability of not having to be funneled towards a single spot that you just have to beat your head against until you succeed.
Even like the legacy dungeons that were that more narrow experience, you could just leave the castle and come back to the big castle later.
Go off and do what I did a lot, which was go into the open world, look out in the distance, see something that looks cool, and go there.
Yeah.
And that game really did a great job of that, of having that feeling of just looking around and being like, off in the distance, I see this cool thing. I wonder what's there.
And that always railroads into 10 other things.
Exactly.
Like, you open a chest and get teleported across the map to a hostile environment that you all of a sudden had to escape, and then me not knowing how to fast travel yet, had to make most of the trek back on foot. Was a highlight for me this year.
I think you did that before you got the horse.
I did it before I got the horse.
It was a feeling of playing that with y'all and talking about it and like sending messages back and forth of like, have you gone this direction and seen this, and have you ran into this guy yet, and just that feeling of exploration, and it's an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment in video games. It did win a lot of awards, and I think it's well deserved. I plan on that thing's not leaving my hard drive anytime soon. I go into it every once in a while. I'll go fight a boss. I maybe beat a mini boss, and come back to it later. It's one of those games that's gonna stay on there for a long time, and I'm really glad that I experienced it when I did alongside everybody else, because I think I got it opening weekend or the week after or something like that. So that feeling of playing along and exploring it with everybody else is just a cool watershed kind of moment. Talking
about Elden Ring add the experience. Like, it was always a race to get to Godric, who can beat Godric first.
Exactly. Or, and then it became like the mini boss challenge of like, have you gone and fought this guy? Or have you went to this castle and, explored there? And it's...
Did you go to Castle Morn and get the whip? Stuff like that.
Yeah, did you get the whip? Did you, do you know that you can fall off this wall here and it'll get you to this boss easier? And it's just, it had so much of those kind of moments of just, like, exploring and just sharing secrets. Like, oh, what's your build? Or do you know that you can go get this weapon here? Or, oh crap, did you get to the castle where there's all the creepy hands?
Oh god. It brought me back to playing Skyrim and Breath of the Wild for the first time. And it has me... I was worried having this game kind of close to when the next Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, is going to come out, because Elden Ring is like in that same space. But Elden Ring just made me more excited going, I cannot wait to have another adventure where everything's all new to me again. Like, it made me... I feel like it's a good pairing with that game, because that game's a lot less... I'm ready for a less stressful version of this type of adventure.
Elden Ring it's got the big adventure feel, but it also does have the challenge and the ability to say, hey, I want to have that big adventure, but keep it a little bit lighter. Is okay. And I think also, Elden Ring obviously seemed to take some tricks from Breath of the Wild. If not directly, but like they seem to be looking at a lot of the same kind of game design.
They both came from a place of Zelda, and I think Dark Souls wanted to break out and be bigger in a way and make like an adventure. And it was two different styles of, I don't know if I'm sure Elden Ring took some cues from Breath of the Wild, but I imagine it was that same desire to just make this big open world adventure. And man, what a game. It's so freaking great.
I was bringing up my list of games I wanted to talk about today. It really does have that feeling, though, of just something special. I think we'll look back on Elden Ring, throughout the next decade as maybe a big trendsetter. I could see a lot of people after playing that going, we've got to take some of these design decisions and bring them into our games.
Some series will be made better, some series will be made worse.
Yeah, I think some series will take the right lessons and some will make the wrong lessons. It was fascinating to see the pushback against Elden Ring from like developers and things like that. People who didn't get why this was connecting with people. And so I'm interested to see, and you won't see it like next year. You'll see it in like 2024, 2025. But I'm interested to see like what lessons games take. Like, what does the next Assassin's Creed, what lessons does that take from like an Elden Ring? Or do they take any of them? Like, I'm interested to see how like it affects open world games going forward.
Yes, absolutely.
What's some other stuff that really connected with you this year in games?
Neon White.
Yeah, that was one that you were pretty excited for, and it seemed like it ended up hitting all the
right notes.
Gears. Yeah,
most of the right notes. Story and dialogue aside, the gameplay of Neon White is freaking incredible. I actually went back and finished the last like 2 zones I was on, got the good ending, and finished platinuming every single level in that game. I still don't have the developer times. I only got that for like 1 level, but I call that a completion. Like, completed the game, did everything. I love that game. I still need to go back and beat Tanner, friend of the show. He's the only person on my friends list on the Switch who has that game, and I made sure every single time I did a run to make sure I beat his time. I have a couple more times I need to beat of his, and every time I do, it is him like, hey, you should check your times on Neon White.
It's just a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, hey, man, if I was you, I'd go check your times.
Exactly.
No, that was one that you called last E3 that you were excited for, and it seemed like it actually did hit all the gears that you wanted it to.
I'm all on board for, is it Ben Esposito is, I believe, the guy's name who leads that development. He did Donut County and Neon White. I will now follow him whatever he does.
Donut County. Wonderful video
What
game.
a great game.
Also, 2 completely different kinds of games.
I told my wife, I was like, oh, the Donut County guy has a new game. She looked at Neon White and went, no. I don't want anything to do with it.
She goes, where is the raccoon? Where is the quadcopter?
She asked that exact question. So
I'm kind of with her. But at the same time, I respected a developer who's willing to go different directions in all their games. It's kind of like I kind of like that, to be honest with you. I like guys who are like, hey, I did this, and then now I'm going to do something completely opposite of this. And then, next time he might come back and do something more in line with Donut County, or might do something completely different.
I have no idea what to expect from this guy.
And I kind of like that, though. I want that. I want more of that, Creative people doing whatever they want usually leads to fun, cool ideas. Even if it's not, like, exactly for you each time, it's usually better for them and therefore better for the art that they make.
Mm.
One thing I want to talk about is TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, right. That
might be my game of the year. I know it's like the weird dark horse selection, but it hits so much nostalgia.
I thought TMNT was IDW. Come on, that was
Boo. Boo this man. Boo this man, ladies and gentlemen. TMNT Shredder's Revenge is a love letter to that 1980s, early 90s TMNT fever that I was wrapped up in as a child. I lived, nothing but I lived, eat, and breathed, Ninja Turtles as a kid. And so sitting on the couch and playing that game all the way through in co-op and, just all of the little Easter eggs and references and the obscure references that are in there. And I loved the old beat-em-ups from that time. I was a Ninja Turtles kid, and those games, when they came out, the Ninja Turtles arcade game, the Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, it just, like, that was, it was right up my alley at that time. And those games are still very good, but they'll beat 'em ups. They can be a little monotonous. What I love about this one is they did just enough to make it a beat 'em up that's got more depth to it, but still being extremely as accessible and extremely easy to sit down with your friends and everybody just have fun. The game's great. Art direction wise, it's amazing. It's a love letter to those games. It's a love letter to the 80s, Ninja Turtles, early 90s Ninja Turtle stuff. Man, I freaking love that thing. I played through it by myself, and then I played through it in co-op, and it's a must play. I think it's just so fun. I played through it on the on Xbox, but it's a great Switch game too. I imagine that's a great game to have on your Switch if you're going on a flight or something. It's just lighthearted, easy to jump in, jump out. It's really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's made by the same people who did. I think they did the Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's the same developer. And I think they also did Windjammers. The new Windjammers. If I remember correctly. So these people can do art style really well. Like that Windjammers looks great. It's got a great art direction and a great feel. Streets of Rage 4 is the same way. So these guys are pretty talented. I want to say, and I'm pulling this from memory here, but they also did the Streets of Rage 4 expansion that came out. So yeah, they do good stuff and they do good beat 'em ups. So maybe we can get some more beat 'em ups out of these guys.
.emu was the developer's name.
Yes. These guys are great. Shredder's Revenge is awesome. I'm very excited. I have not played it yet, but I'm probably gonna hopefully grab it soon. The Ninja Turtles collection that came out this year of all the arcade games, the Game Boy games, all of the NES games, all that stuff.
That collection was it's pretty great.
It's pure nostalgia, and I'm ready to shoot that shit into my veins. What's something else?
Immortality.
Let's talk about Immortality.
Yeah, we need to talk about that one.
Immortality. It's a game I'll never go back and play.
You can't, because it's one of those games that fits the same mold to me as like Return of the Obra Dinn or Outer Wilds, where the fun of the game is unraveling the mystery. And once you solve the mystery, it's like, that's awesome, but it's sad because I can never have that experience again.
That game, I went into it completely blind. Only thing I knew about it was the trailer that had played at E3. And I remember stumbling upon the gimmick, I guess, of that game. I stumbled upon it pretty naturally by mistake, and it stuck with me. It connected with me in such a really deep level of, it made me feel nervous and a little bit uncomfortable because I didn't know what to expect, and then I stumbled upon something I felt like I shouldn't be seeing. Mm-hmm. And that was really, really cool. Going into it blind. It's going into Dusk Till Dawn and not knowing the end.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of like, oh, wait, this is this. Oh, okay, cool.
So if for our listeners who don't know what Immortality is a full-motion video game where you're looking through old footage of basically a film archive that's all about this actress. And as you are digging through footage, you're doing a match-on action, like you're picking either a character's face or an object in the environment, and it takes you to a different clip with either that same actor or a piece of imagery that's similar. And you're trying to, there's no direction, it's trying to piece together exactly what happened to this actress who made only 3 movies in 3 different decades and then vanished without a trace. And,
it's a game that you could put in front of almost anybody, teach them the basics of what they need to know, and let them experience it. It has such a low barrier to entry. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing. It's a great video game, man.
I think you can now play that with like a Netflix subscription.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Which is fine because you could totally do it with your remote.
Yeah, exactly.
That game it's wonderful. It's fairly short. but it's
The less you know about, the better.
I'm
Go
not
in
gonna ever really
blind.
like explore, you know, but it's just it's very fascinating. It makes me want to check out what they've already done because that studio has been doing stuff with full motion video for a while.
Sam Barlow is the developer. He did, I think, Night Shift, which I heard wasn't as good, and then Her Story was like I think the game that put him on the map, which is a very similar. You're typing things into a directory and finding footage that correlates, and you leave when you're done. Although this game, I believe, is the only one I can think of that has a definitive ending.
Yeah,
there is credits at the end of this. At the end of this,
there
thing,
is a way
to
quote unquote beat the game,
and it's possible, I imagine, to stumble on that very early, but almost by accident.
Yeah,
Which
highly
is
suggest.
exciting. The fact that this game could take you like 10 hours, or it could take you 2, depending on what rabbit trails. Like, we were discussing the game, and we discovered that we went on like 2 different rabbit trails. Like, you were undercovering one mystery, and I was trying to figure out like what was going on behind the scenes of the second movie.
There was literally a point in which I was going down. You want to talk about making you feel like you're like invested in the story. You feel like a detective, you know, running all this leads, and you were on a completely different trail than I was, but neither of us was like quote unquote wrong. We were just exploring the mystery from 2 different angles, and yeah, it's a really wonderful game.
There's so much attention to detail with the way it's shot, how each movie definitely feels like it's part of the decade it's from, in terms of like the props and like the production design they use, like matte painted backgrounds for like the 60s, and very much like all of a sudden to shift to, I believe it's definitely digital, I think, when they go to the 90s. I don't know if that's shot on film or not.
I think it maybe is digital.
Because it's a lot clearer.
It's super clear.
Image,
It looks a lot, yeah.
But
you got a lot out of it because you're a film major, and you were picking up on stuff that, you know, it's very specific to the art of making movies.
The fact that they did a tail slate correctly, where there was no slate at the beginning of the clip going, they didn't slate this. That's weird if it's going to be part of the movie. And then they did at the end, but they turned how you do a tail slate is you do the marker at the end where you do the clap to like match picture. If you have, for whatever reason, do it at the end, you hold the slate upside down. So that way, you know, when you're sifting through footage, you know, this is the end of a clip. It's not the start of a clip. Just the way they did that blew my mind. I was so happy they did that correctly.
And I remember watching it and going, I did not understand that because that's not my expertise by any means. And being like, but clearly that's got to mean something. And when I asked you about it, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. It's just, it's very well done. The least you can know about that game, the better. But that's a great weekend. You got a Saturday free, play Immortality.
It was the only thing I played for like 2 straight days.
Yeah.
And I could not wait to get back to it because it was like one of those, once I pulled away from it, it was all I was thinking about, connecting the dots of that mystery. It's a really good mystery novel where you don't want to put it down, and when you're away from it, it's all you can think about is the mystery.
Exactly.
It's so good. I love my time with this thing.
It's highly suggested. Trek to Yuma is a game I want to talk about.
I wasn't hot on that one, but I'm glad you stuck with it.
I ended up finishing it. Trek to Yuma was a game that when I watched the reveal at like the Devolver conference or something, I was really like, this looks really interesting. That game is really, really well done. It is way too long. But it is very beautiful. It really does nail down the aesthetic of the samurai movie. I wish they would have leaned more into just how great they did the presentation of everything, and a little bit less into the combat. The combat can become very monotonous and repetitive, and the game does drag a lot. It's one of my kind of complaints, but there's still something really there. It's still wonderfully done, and it's still something I highly suggest experiencing. It's one of those games that has so much potential they just didn't quite nail the landing. You ever see like in gymnastics, like when they do the big cool somersaults across the mat, and then when they hit their feet, they take that step back, and you're like, shit, didn't nail landing. That's Trek to Yuma. But it's still very, very good, and it's still something I feel like deserves to be mentioned as something that needs to be talked about.
There's two types of players. There's some that like a YouTuber of mine I listened to. I'll use that comparison too. It was like because he always said he'd rather have a game that doesn't stick the landing versus one that completely botches the dismounts. That is how he phrased it.
That is a wonderful way of yeah.
I might be the opposite because I can push through a couple of like rough hours if I know like, but the ending or how it like wraps up makes like the biggest impression on me because that's usually what I think of and have those feelings carrying while leaving it. So I might be the opposite there.
Yeah. I think it's a personal preference.
Yeah, exactly.
How much I think you have a lot more tolerance of getting through rough stuff to get to something that you know is good. I have a lot of like you got to grab me early. But I think it's just a personality difference.
Yeah.
What's something else? If you got anything else.
That's the stuff that really stuck out in my... Oh, I got one more. One that stuck me recently. People got into it way before, but this one grabbed me over the past, like... I dabbled on it occasionally, but over the past week, once it hit mobile phones, I was all over it. Vampire Survivors!
My God.
This game is... rules. I got another one, too. I just thought of it.
Okay, yeah. Vampire Survivors... It's like a monkey brain thing where it just gets you so deep. And like I remember I started playing it on when it hit Xbox, and Nick just sent me a message like, be careful of that game, it will steal your life. And the first time I played it, I looked up, I had been playing it for 2 hours, and I just did not comprehend that that's how long time had passed. It's such a simple concept. And
it scratches the brain of like something like a really addicting like early 90s arcade game does.
Yeah.
One more quarter. I can get past this if I just put in one more quarter. It's very simple. All you do is just move up, down, left, right. That's it.
You literally don't hit any buttons. You move left, right, up, and down.
How can something so simple become like an ultimate power fantasy where you're just shooting a bunch of bullcrap from all directions and killing hundreds of enemies in a second?
Dude, when you've got the dual whips going and you got the garlic, or like
Team Garlic
around,
all day, every day.
Garlic's a must-have. And
if you don't have garlic in the early game, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, and you're doing the lightning strikes. Oh my God!
You got the Bible.
You got the Bible flying around you, killing zombies. Vampire Survivors is amazing. God, yeah, it's a great game. It's proof. It's so fast. Here we are talking about the games that we liked this year. You have Elden Ring, who's this like accomplishment of video games, big budget. It's what you think of when you do like, hey, you got your next gen console. It's time to play something. You want to play Elden Ring, but then Vampire Survivors, this simple game that can play on your phone, is still just as a rewarding experience. Yeah, it's a great game. I love that game so much. It's a great. I would say it's a great like pick up and play game, but you're gonna pick it up and then realize it's been like 2.5 hours.
It's the perfect. I want to say it's like the perfect mobile game, but
no, because then you're gonna be like sitting on the toilet and your legs are gonna fall asleep and you're gonna fall off, and
that's when
you've been there for 3 days.
That's when you hit the good run and you're like, I think I could go the full 30 minutes.
It's great. It's a great game.
I love it. I didn't realize there were multiple stages in it until like 2 days ago. Because I had just gotten that good of a run, and then I realized, wait a minute, there's another stage. Oh no, this game is a rabbit hole. Because you do one good run, and then you unlock the next stage, and you're like, I'm just gonna poke my head in and see what this one's about.
And then that second stage is the only big difference is it's narrow.
So you can't go up and down. You can only go left and right.
You can't go up and down that much. And so it changes the strategy. It's
you can't,
such a simple
you can't
game.
circle strafe. You gotta pick a direction, march through, and hope you can part
And
the
it
sea.
changes what power-ups you're going to want. Like that knife that throws in the direction in which you walk becomes a lot more powerful when you can only really go front and back. It's Vampire Survivor, man. That's
Great game.
so good. Just a couple of honorable mentions. These are games that are still technically in game preview. Proteus, game preview on Xbox, and then, oh my God, it just left my head. The game with the whip.
Phantom Abyss.
Phantom Abyss.
Oh yeah, that was a really
Both
good
of those are in game preview, but they're both pretty much, they feel like done games, and they're both really, really, really good. Phantom Abyss, I actually went back and played a little bit of that last week, and it's addictive. It's fun when you start getting those good runs and you getting your idols and you're feeling like you're a champion, and then you hit the one tomb that is kicking your ass. It's really good. Both of those games, highly suggested.
I wish a lot of the friends list stuff in that thing was better integrated, and maybe that'll be coming with a more full release. But that's my only complaint with that. Playing the actual game is like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And my big honorable mention is a game I've also been playing a lot of, another mobile game, Marvel Snap.
Yeah. I figured that was going to walk it on there.
Just like it worked its way, keeps working its way back into my life. It worked its way into my honorable mentions. A big indie year for me, which usually doesn't happen. I usually like focusing on like some of like both the big releases, and I like some of like the more obscure like hidden gem releases. But because things were like especially weird with games releases this year, next year is looking more like my thing.
Next year is I want to kind of save it towards the end of the show today, but we got this. The Game Awards happened, and I sent a message to you and Nick saying that I felt like there was more stuff shown at the Game Awards this year that has me excited than last year's E3.
I agree.
It was just like stacked. It was just stacked with cool games. We played, we talk about the games that we played that came out this year, but we also played 20-some games, that didn't come out this year for the show. Let's kind of talk about some of our favorite memories of the games that we've played for the show.
Yeah, this is a good chance to reflect and kind of celebrate the past season. For those of you who don't know, like, we do an episode at the end of the season that ranks all of these games, and last year we tried out like an award show thing, but that just led to like too much debate about the game where I felt like we were tearing down stuff more than we were like celebrating.
When we do the rankings, it is important to remember that we play predominantly a large number of really, really good games. Predominantly. We do play some bad ones. But so sometimes it can come across as if we are bad-mouthing games, but that's not what we are doing. We are just having to rank good games. So that will still be coming this holiday season.
Gotta write up my essay on why Metal Gear Solid 2 is the greatest game of all time. But
but no, we actually played. Jumping into it, we played several kind of like our holy grail of video games. Like we played Metal Gear Solid 2, which is you going on record saying your favorite game of all time.
Up there, top three.
Top three. And then we played Resident Evil 4, which is my favorite game of all time. We played a lot of odd stuff. We played things like we finally played through Control, which was really, really good. I really love playing Control in this format.
This format made me love Control even more than I would have just like playing it a second time on my own. Being able to like combing over every file, looking at details, and especially with the context of Alan Wake fresh in my mind, being able to really pick that apart and seeing how like this whole universe was created and the attention to detail and like the memos and
having two other people there to compare notes and be like, did you pick up on this little thing here? That game I think works extremely well in this format. Control was one of my favorite. It might not be my favorite game we've played this season, but it's one of my favorite games to do this format with.
If
that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, those were great. I liked recording the episodes just as much as I liked playing the game.
Yes.
And both of which were a lot of fun.
Yeah. What was some games that we played this season that didn't come out the way you had hoped?
The big one is, well, Tomb Raider Underworld was the weird one here for me.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to play Tomb Raider for the show, but at the same time, we knew kind of what that would be going in. Because this was the last one they did before the reboots. And so we knew, like, there had to be a change somewhere. But then you go back and, like, as I was doing research, and I believe you did, like, you look too, there's a lot of people who defend that game and love that game. That it got me unfairly, like, excited for, like, oh, this is going to be, like, a hidden gem. This is going to be...
I remember telling you that I was so shocked. Because I always kind of go on the game subreddits and stuff like that before we play the game, just to kind of see what the vibe is, you know, and how active is the community and this, that, and the other. And I was like, man, that trilogy of games, Legends and Anniversary and Underworld, is like their shit. Like, they love those games. And I was really kind of like taken back by that because we had talked about, let's play the Tomb Raider before the reboot. Let's see why they had to reboot, you know? And I was like, yeah, I was kind of set up for something else because I was like, maybe this is awesome. And maybe I just, you know, maybe the reboot was, you know, not necessarily due to quality, but due to something else. And the thing is, there is some stuff in that game that's really, really cool.
There's really interesting puzzles. The idea of going to eat a bunch of ancient civilizations and having, like, the same interconnected mystery tying to their underworld is a very fascinating concept. A lot of the mystery, especially in that first half, is really good. So some of the environmental designs of, like, the tombs are...
Think about the initial mission, like, when you're swimming through the... like you're diving in the ocean at the beginning, or the racing your motorcycle down the circular paths at the in the Arctic, or in the Arctic, or like there is a lot of good stuff there.
I thought I was dreading the vehicle sections because, like, there's no way this controls well, but those were some of my favorite parts in the game. Doing the motorcycle race before the tomb closed was a great sequence.
I think we got real high on that one because we were just and I think it's a situation where you see the potential, but then when you start looking at what was coming out at the same time as this, you realize how dated it was even when it came out.
Because I went and played the first Uncharted, which came out around the same time as Underworld, and that's when it clicked. I was like, oh yeah, something needed to change here. Because I thought when I went back and did the first Uncharted, I was thinking, this is a lot more combat heavy, right? The first Uncharted would become a lot more, like, combat heavy as they, like, went along, but I played the first hour and there was only, like, one combat sequence in that thing. A lot of it was, like, still exploration, and they may finally fix, like, the main problem I have with Underworld was, well, jumping and
climbing and platforming,
and mainly because of the camera being a thing. But the way, like, Uncharted was smart to be like, no, you can't rotate the camera, but you can, like, kind of, like, pan and tilt, like, up, down, left, or right when you're on a climbing sequence. So these scripted, the camera's going to sit here, you can move it a little bit to see what's around you, but you're not going to be able to rotate it and get it stuck inside, like, a wall or something. So I get why Tomb Raider especially need to change. I kind of want to see if the new Tomb Raider, especially there was news about that coming out as we're recording this, about how Amazon's going to be publishing it along with Embracer Group. So they have all the money in the world for this.
Yeah.
So I wonder, enjoyed the games of the reboot trilogy that I played, but I kind of want to see what would happen if they try to go back to a more extensively puzzle-focused kind of swashbuckling adventure Laura.
I think I talked about it on those shows, but I played all three of the reboots. I think they're great games. They're really, really good. I highly suggest them. But I did sit there and go, I think I'm at the place in my life right now where I want the Indiana Jones feel of those Tomb Raider games. I want, the pulp feel of, grabbing the idol right before the door shuts and stuff like that. I want that feel. And I still came out of Underworld wanting that. I was like, I want this Laura back for a while.
And that's why I really loved like the spin-off when I played Uncharted The Lost Legacy this year, because it was a lot more puzzle. It had a lot of like the Uncharted combat stuff especially, but it was a lot more, it had that swashbuckling feel and was a lot more puzzle focused in a lot of ways. And it was a big open area where I felt like if Tomb Raider continued down this path, I think this would be the next Tomb Raider. I'm excited to see where like the next one goes. I hope they more take inspiration from like that style of like the Uncharted games for their reboot sequence, but for the next reboot. But yeah, Underworld was a fascinating one to like play and go back to.
I kind of, I'm at the point now where I really do hope for swashbuckling pulp hero Laura to come back. I think that would be great. Trying to think of some other stuff that, there's games that we played for the show that just didn't connect with me the way I had hoped. Vanquished was a game that I was really, really looking forward to, and then I came out not really feeling it.
I'm shaking my head. I came around on that thing in the second half. We like flip-flopped. You were like, the first half you're like, no, there's something good here. I think it's going to get better in the second half. The first half going, I don't know, man. And then the second half, I'm like, no, I love Vanquish. I'm high on this thing.
I was like, oh no, man, this is okay, I guess.
What a wild roller coaster ride the thing was.
There's some stuff that really, like, some dark horse choices of games that really came out this year, that came out of the season that we, not came out this year, but the season we played, of stuff that I really, really enjoyed. I didn't think I was going to enjoy how much Spec Ops: The Line seemed to connect with us. We really had a great conversations around that game.
Man.
You're really deep. I'll tell you a game that I really connected on was like Firewatch.
Oh yeah.
Which was this season. It was early in the season, and I played that thing in one sitting.
I went back over the past couple of weeks and re-listened to like some of the first half of our season to kind of like see where we were, and what I connected with was how like I could not remember how much you like fell in love with that game.
Firewatch.
It was really interesting because I was like, man, I forgot Eric absolutely loved this thing.
Firewatch was special. It hit me in a time where it connected so well, and it used the medium of video games to tell a story that would have been also compelling in any other medium. Like, you could put that as a book and it would have been compelling. But something about the game, medium, they did such a great job of, just making you feel the isolation of being out there, the connection of the connection of these two people's conversations, when you get to the ending and how things play out there.
It did a great...
It's great. No, yeah, it really connected.
It did a great job of making you have agency over Henry's situations without taking away from his character. Like, I thought of the bit with of my favorite moments. I wrote down like all my favorite moments from like each game we played this year. But the bit where you're talking with Delilah, and after everything you've done, you've set up, like, because you make the decisions that lead to why Henry, no matter what, ends up
where he does,
where he is. And there's a bit where you start flirting with Delilah, and you can push that choice to go a little bit further and a little bit further, and then you wake up and you see your wedding ring sitting on the table beside you. Just that stuff like that is so freaking good. Just the way it can make you go, I made a mistake. I should not
But
have
it
done
never
that.
character assassinates Henry.
No, he's a person.
He's a person, and he has flaws. And no matter how you play that game, Henry is still who he is. And it just depends on what mistakes and what decisions he makes. That game is really about two people. That's the only real characters in that game. Now, there's other people that you learn about, but there's really only two characters in that game. And
if they were done poorly, the game would not work.
Even if one of them was done poorly, if Delilah wasn't as good as she is, or if Henry wasn't as like those two people's connection in their performances is why that game is good, and it's why that game sells its story. Like I said, I played that thing in one sitting because I could not stop. I did not want to. I never got to a point in which I was like, this is a logical ending, for me to sit down and go ahead and call it for the night. It was always, I had to go forward. I had to see what happened from the moments of like, Henry, I see you in your tower. I'm not in my tower. And the panic of someone being in the tower while you're gone. This is where
I want to. Where I want to touch on the soundtrack, because the soundtrack does a lot of the lifting for the tension too. Because a lot of the game, like the beginning parts, are like mostly done like an acoustic guitar, and then like you have more like bass synthesizers to like build up the tension and like those really intense moments, like you at the camp and Delilah says, burn it down. What else? What other options do we have? What do we do? Moments like that where they're panicking and like trying to making rash decisions, and the music reflects that and makes you have that same like anxiety. It's an incredible freaking independent game. Yeah,
it nails everything, and I connected with that game on such a very, very deep level. It's a game that means a lot to me. I really, really enjoyed playing that game. I enjoyed playing it for this show. It means a lot. That game, if anything, is one of my favorite experiences I've had this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. What was there any kind of games like that for this season that you felt like
that was really high on?
Yeah, that you didn't see, because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think Firewatch was gonna do that to me, and so the fact that it did, it came out of left field, which is always nice.
I would say I did not expect to have Control elevated much higher personally for me the second time through the game, because this is my second time playing, but having mainly part of, we already touched on how like the conversation enhanced that game for me. I did not expect to like go from a game that I really liked to a game that I loved. So that was really like fascinating for me. But we also touched on stuff this season that like I played a lot of games that I always wanted to play or finish that I just never got around to. Like for example, Psychonauts was always a big question mark in my mind of like what that was. And now that it feels like I'm a part of something, having like completed that thing. Like I know about Psychonauts now.
You can have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because you've now experienced it. And that's one of the reasons why this show is fun to do, is it gives you the opportunity to kind of force yourself to go and knock off the backlog, right? And Psychonauts is a game that I would look at for years, but I never would probably have sat down and actually played it if it wasn't for this show. That's a game that it was more interesting to me to have the conversations about why that game is the way it is and why it connected with people than the game itself necessarily. And that's not necessarily like a shot at the game. It was more just like, this is Double Fine's figuring stuff out. Like, what would Double Fine go on to do? What lessons did they learn from this game that they took into the future?
We'll talk about this on when we rank it, but this is a game ultimately that if I were to categorize a game that had the best ideas, it would be Psychonauts. However, like, some of like the execution points and how they tried to implement those ideas, I think, is where it kind of falters. But when the ideas and the execution meet is when you get moments like Lungfishopolis.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best. That and Black Velvetopia are two of my favorite sections in any game we played this year, because it had like the visuals, the humor, and the gameplay, and like the story all connected in a way. But most other levels get like 2 of the 4 down. Like, I think of like the Milkman level that had the concept and the humor, but the gameplay in that section was like incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, it ruined it in my mind. Like, I felt like that was a section I should have been like so high on, and instead I was kind of like, I just couldn't connect with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And the fact that you started that level and then had to go back to we're positive now. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next time.
But no, yeah.
But
No, but you're right, and sometimes that is something worth doing, is playing something just to see, like, okay, how did... Maybe the execution's not... It's what I was saying with, like, Trek to Yuma, where it's sometimes the willingness to take a shot at something. Maybe if you fall short, it's still worth experiencing just because the ideas that are behind it.
And those are the games I love playing.
Yeah. I like to jump into those things and see, okay, like, why did this not hit 100%, and then why did it connect with so many people so deeply? Because a lot of people, that's a cult hit for a reason.
We kind of had that experience, like, reflecting on ourselves and our own perception of games. Like when we played Batman Arkham Asylum, we went in with our preconceived notions of, yeah, this game freaking rules, it's amazing. And then having that, like, it didn't hit as hard for us.
That's when I realized that the second half of that game was a slog. And it really kind of, it put things back in perspective, because when I went into it, I was like, Batman Arkham Asylum is a ball of video game. There's not going to be much wrong with this.
And then we put the first half. We're like, yeah, pretty much, yeah. This game still is firing on all cylinders. But then the second half happens, and you're like, where'd the story go?
What is happening? Like, why are we doing this? And like that feeling of like, oh, my brain blocked out all of this and just left the good stuff. And it made you question your feelings on Arkham City. You're like, is Arkham City that good? Or did my brain just block out all the bad stuff from Arkham City? But that's the advantage of going back and playing some of this stuff. And then sometimes it works the opposite. Like when I went back and played Spec Ops The Line, I was like, oh shit, this thing still hits. And it hits me now as an older guy more than it even did when I played it when it came out as a younger man. It's good to go back sometimes and fiddle with stuff and say, okay, is this as good as I remember it? Or like, rose-colored glasses can be a motherfucker, you know?
On that subject, we might as well talk about our two favorites that we brought into the ring here. Metal Gear Solid 2 was one that I brought. This was your first time ever experiencing something like that. And I hope you see, or saw, especially when we did this, of why this was the game. I'm like, we have to play this for the show, because no other game will ever exist like this ever again.
It's an amazing game. I'm on record as being a Metal Gear guy now. I don't know if it's my favorite of the series so far, but that doesn't mean that it's not the most interesting, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually really, really love the first Metal Gear Solid. I think that's my favorite.
Any of the original 3 are like valid picks for your favorite. So.
But 2 is the one that you can't argue is the most interesting. It's
so prophetic in a terrifying way.
It's terrifyingly prophetic, but it's also, it does so many things right, like the beginning being a direct reference to Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, the beginning of Raiden's stuff.
Yeah.
Not the Tanko mission, but the beginning of Raiden's stuff. The almost perfection of the Tanko sequence. Like, that's almost a perfect level in a video game. It's the way I describe Resident Evil 4 all the way up to the fight in the village with the chainsaw guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like a perfect introduction to a game. Metal Gear Solid 2 has that with the Tanko sequence. It's the perfect Metal Gear environment. Use tools to get past stuff. Stealth around.
It's a great
take down guys.
It's a great introduction to the AI and the upgraded AI system in that game, which is still freaking great to this day.
There's AI in games that came out this year who is not as smart as Metal Gear Solid 2's AI. Metal Gear Solid 2 is an amazing video game. Like, I cannot argue that. And when it comes down to ranking it, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have a hard time with ranking it because, like I said, Metal Gear Solid 1 is my favorite of the trilogy so far. But Metal Gear Solid 2 is more interesting.
You can be swayed, is what you're saying. Okay.
But it's,
I can work with that. I can work with that.
It's a fascinating game.
Even like the villains, like Solidus as like a villain concept in direct opposition to the other villain, which is like the Patriot AI.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're both they both have a reason for why they're doing the thing they're doing.
No one's just doing evil stuff for the sake of being evil. It's something that in other Metal Gear games...
Well, maybe Liquid Snake, but you need that wrench thrown in the system.
Yeah. Ocelot with his liquid arm.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But it has a great cast of villains, right? Like, of the three we've played so far, you know, all three's cast of bosses. 2's cast is probably, in my mind, the most...
They're the weakest to fight, but they're the most philosophically interesting in my mind.
They as a character is more interesting, but they are the weakest boss fights. I think probably Metal Gear Solid 3 has the best boss fights. You think about even the pain, fighting him in the going into the water and popping up and shooting them and fighting the fear.
It's 3 or 1 for me for sure.
1's pretty good.
One has the better mono fight.
Oh yeah, 1's got you fight Liquid shirtless on top of a burning mech. Damn, Metal Gear Solid 1.
Although in 2 you do sword fight the President of the United States on top of Federal Hall, which is pretty good in itself.
True.
Yep.
True.
Oh man,
you do sword fight the president.
And then Snake's like having Snake become this game elevates Snake to one of the greatest video game characters of all time
because you see him like everyone else sees him.
So good. The utter commitment to no, we're gonna strip you from the main character of this series, and you're gonna watch them on the sidelines. Sounds like all the red flags in the world, like, what are you doing?
It's a thing that could have went so wrong.
And for a lot of people, it did. There's some people who still can't get past that in this game.
I'm going to tell you right now that those people, I feel like, I get it. I understand. If you played that game, you played Metal Gear Solid 1, you love Snake, and then you got told you ain't getting to play as Snake, deal with it, motherfucker. It was Plinskin instead. Totally not Snake. I totally understand that reaction, but boy, did you miss out on a hell of a video game.
Just because the speech that he gives, like, you, the player, at the end of the reveal of how the entire game being, like, built from the ground up for you, the player, is such, like, great theming.
Down to the dog tags having your
name on it.
It's amazing.
It's so on that moment, so on the nose, but it needs it to like click into your head. Like, wait a minute, you got me. I'm this idiot. Got it.
In opposite, Resident Evil 4 is everything I love about video games.
Yeah, agreed.
It's from the feeling of exploration and just going crazy places, to the tightness of that gameplay that would not work in most games, but in Resident Evil 4 just makes sense. to the just insanity of the fact that that game exists. That why did we build an entire sequence inside of a big melting facility? Why is there a sequence in which, why does Lewis keep showing up and then disappearing? Like, there's so much, like, whys in that game. And in reality, the question is, why not? Why not do these things? It's amazing.
I love this. I love Resident Evil 4. It solidified the fact, like, yeah, this is one of the greatest games ever made. What are you talking about here?
I love it. It's amazing.
And the fact that I didn't know if we would be able to get, like, 3 episodes talking about it. But we did.
Yeah.
Because there's so much mechanics under the hood for every single section in that game. That game is so wild. It throws out so much at you. You think you know what you're getting in for in the village. Like, it sets up, okay, this is how this gameplay's going to go. Then you get in the castle, and it's like, all of a sudden, here's some catapults right out the door.
Here's catapults. Here's chased by a statue.
A minecart sequence.
Here's death enemies that you have to shoot bells to get them to go attack those so you can shoot them in the back.
You're shit fighting guys at knights in suit of armor.
You fight knights. Then you go to an island where you just go to war. Where you're fighting guys with RPGs and a guy with a giant machine gun. Then you're fighting regenerating enemies. One of the few regenerating enemies that aren't annoying.
That enemy type alone is so freaking good. I love the regenerators in this game. And I cannot wait to see how the remake plays with expectations on all of this. Or even if it's just, hey, we took that game and did it.
I don't know what it's going to do, and I don't want to know. I watched the gameplay footage, which was mostly up through the village, which is, in my mind, in Resident Evil 4, is one of the most perfect gameplay sections in video games. And I sat there and I went, this is everything I need to see. It's a darker, more creepy version of Resident Evil 4.
You know what? That's what I want. But at the same time,
it still has my boy Leon dropping fire, like when he shoots the thing and the cow runs out and he just goes, "Bill me
for the damages later." Blocking a chainsaw with your knife.
Blocking a chainsaw with your knife. With your knife. I'm really killing myself over here. We played some fire games this season.
Before we move on, I just want to say, as someone who could not put down Resident Evil Village, you need to play Resident Evil Village.
It's on the list.
Because just when I thought 4 was the only Resident Evil with some one-time use assets, and I'm like, you can't do this. Here comes the Village with, here's a very scary monster that you're going to spend the entire time running away from. And you just know it's behind you. So it's like, we spent all this time modeling this monster that you don't even want to look at.
Did you play in third person or first person?
I played the entire game in first person.
Okay. I kind of want to play it in third person.
I played it in first person, but I'm going to play it again.
Okay.
I want to do the hardest difficulty.
We might need to front load Resident Evil Village for the next season.
Just pop it in. I got the DLC too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something to talk about. I'm trying to keep this in sections if you don't know. Yeah. Closing up our conversation about the previous year, what's some stuff outside of video games that you loved? What's some stuff that you want people to not miss from this year?
Not miss from this year. One of probably my favorite movie I saw in theaters this year was Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. That had a 1-week limited engagement in movie theaters. I made sure to see it on that Friday, because I'm like, I have to see this in a theater. It was a great time. It's a great communal movie. It's going to be on Netflix at the end of December. It's going to be a movie that you're going to want to have some friends over who enjoyed the first one and just have a laugh with it. And they couldn't have picked a better time to make like an idiot billionaire one of the characters. There's some stuff that lines up in scarily accurate ways that I'm like, you put this out at the perfect
Is
time.
this a man who possibly owns a social media company?
I'm not inclined to say.
Well, how you gonna know which one? Because,
You'll know when you see.
oh, will you? Because there's multiples.
You will know when you
Yeah.
see Glass Onion. What a great movie. And then another movie I really loved in the theater is probably the best, with the best climax possibly ever put to screen, Top Gun Maverick.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to see it so bad. You know what?
It does the thing that I love from like a really good heist movie, where the entire movie is planning for a single mission, and you know all the parameters of the mission. You know when things go right without saying anything. You know when things go wrong without saying everything. So when they do the mission, it's the most intense. It's probably the most intense 45 minutes I've watched a movie since Rogue One, where I was just gripping my seat over everything, going, "Oh man, they didn't make the first check. they're down 5 seconds from the first checkpoint. How are they gonna make up that time?" And stuff like that. It's so freaking great.
The person aside, Tom Cruise makes some baller fucking movies.
I look forward to it every time.
Like, my father's favorite actor of all time is Tom Cruise.
Valid pick.
And, like I said, person aside, you can't deny that the man makes some he makes fun blockbuster movies. I watched Days of Thunder recently because I had time, apparently.
As you do.
And I was sat there and go, I don't give a fuck about NASCAR. But this man made me watch an entire movie about NASCAR racing. Like, the guy makes some amazing blockbuster movies, the Mission Impossible movies. I need to see Top Gun. I hate that I missed it in theaters. But yeah, that movie seems amazing. I'm going to jump in while we're talking movies real quick and throw out All Quiet on the Western Front.
I know the book from school. I haven't seen the movie.
The new movie that came out, it's on Netflix. I did not watch it in German. I watched it in English. I kind of wish I watched it in German, but it is a powerful freaking movie. It's very, very good. It is probably one of the most is a tough watch, but it's very, very good. I highly, highly suggest it. I didn't watch a ton of movies this year that from this year, but All Quiet on the Western Front is probably my favorite movie of the year so far.
That's awesome.
And I highly, highly suggest it. From a historical point of view, it showcases a lot of that experience in a very fascinating way. I highly suggest it. I will probably watch it again, and hopefully I'll watch it this time in German. The performances come across well with the dub, the English dub, but I think with the German, it will probably be better. So I'm definitely going to watch it then. Mm-hmm. That's my only real movie pick. That's why I wanted to jump in.
Music-wise, I had a lot of stuff. I actually had a list that I wrote out for music because there was just so much. Probably my favorite album this year, which blew me away, because I've been listening to a lot of the 1975, and just in preparation for their latest album, I listened to every single album, which was a frustrating experience because those guys for the longest time did not know how to pace an album. Way too many instrumental interludes, bloated album lengths, where it got frustrating until this year when they released Being Funny in a Foreign Language. This is their most cohesive album. It's their tightest album. It's their most emotionally resonant album. It's so great in a lot of ways. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a fan of the band, I would give this one a listen because they switched genres so much. There's songs that are delve into just their usual pop hook swings, and then there's more indie acoustic rock songs. It reminds me of a lot of a Beatles record, just because they don't confine themselves to a genre track by track. There's songs that sound like 80s Lionel Richie on this thing in a lot of ways, with Old Caroline, and then just the opening, the track was just very piano heavy as he's dealing with as the lead singer is dealing with the world around us. There's there's a line that stuck with me that was like, I'm feeling apathetic after scrolling through hell.
That's a good line. That's a really good line. You want to bounce back and forth on music?
Yeah.
Since I got some. I also, there's several albums that I kind of really dug into this year that might not necessarily have come out this year, but they're in the past like year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
First one I want to talk about is Brave Faces, Everyone by Spanish Love Songs.
I know the song from that record. I haven't listened to that record, but I know that song.
You want to talk about dealing with a very specific point in time in your life? I am coming out of my 20s now. I'm in my early 30s. And that feeling of disassociation as a generation and the troubles that face you at the age in which you're at that point in your life, and that is a very targeted towards that kind of feeling. It's an album that has some songs on it that would just grind your emotions into dirt, but it's also a great pop punk record with some great vocalization. When I first listened to it, I actually thought to myself that it was a little bit whiny. It was a little bit complaining. And I gave it a second listen, primarily off of some recommendations of how good it was. And on the second listen through is when it really connected with me, and I really picked up on a lot of the vibes. And it's great. Spanish Love Songs is a band that has some really good work, but that's definitely their peak. I don't know if I love everything else they've released, but that album in particular has been really connected. It's a great album. Great album. Awesome. Highly suggested.
Another one for me, Formentera by Metric. Metric is one of my all-time favorite bands. I discovered them about 10 years ago when they were like 4 albums deep into their career, and they've just been releasing, with the exception of their like 2014, 2015 album, Pagans in Vegas. It's been all highs, especially their previous album, 2018's Art of Doubt, is one of my favorite albums of all time. Formentera doesn't hit my favorite album of all time highs, but this is still a very solid synth rock record with some great freaking hooks in it. The song All Comes Crashing can be like taken on its own. This is a album with only 9 tracks because some of the tracks are more long and everything, but because of the 9 tracks, it doesn't overstay its welcome. And it does very well with like multiple listens. That first track, Doom Scroller, is about 10 minutes long. There's a theme this year between that and feeling apathetic of just scrolling through hell of dealing with like existential dread from the world around you, which is probably why I liked Midnights by Taylor Swift as well. That's on my list. That was the first Taylor Swift album I really loved. I just like albums dealing with existential dread with like dark synth beats is apparently my thing.
I can't say anything because that Spanish Love Songs album is also dealing with existential dread.
It's been a lot of that this past few years.
Yeah, it feels like that's the theme.
We finally reached like the catharsis of that.
Yeah.
So,
my next one is Imperium by Ghost. Ghost is going through a big popularity boost. I think mostly associated with the fact that their song, one of their songs, blew up on TikTok. You might have heard it. You go down just like Holy Mary.
Maybe.
Mary,
yeah.
Mariana. It blew up on the TikToks. But Imperium by Ghost is it's a ball of freaking record, man. Ghost is a metal band if you ran it through like a Scooby-Doo machine.
Okay.
Ghost it has the trappings of like black metal with the very over the top thing, with the makeup and the imagery of like, a lot of religious imagery and things like that. But then you put that through a band that knows how to write pop sensibilities and a lot of use of like organs and things like that, but also a lot of tongue-in-cheek. It's like one of my biggest issues when I was really into metal, and I still like metal, is metal that takes itself so hyper seriously when it's talking about ridiculous concepts. When you are just like, everything is so fucking serious as we're talking about devils and demons and knights and dragons. And it's like, okay, come on, man. You know? And Ghost has that tongue-in-cheekness. Imperium is a amazing record with some great songs. Spillways is probably my favorite song on that record. Like I said, it's metal ran through like a Scooby-Doo machine in a good way. And I'm not a big Ghost fan in their other records. I listened to them all. I think that Imperium is the first one that actually connected really well with me, and I actually really, really dig it. I'm excited to see what their next record is. I hope it's more like this, because the other stuff never really fully connected. I felt like I missed it when it first came out because I had already tried the band out and did not like them.
Yeah.
And so when I finally did try this album, I was like, oh yeah, wow, there's some really great stuff. Watchers in the Sky. Yeah, it's just a ton of great songs on that record. Imperium is very, very good. And it's a great record to listen through all the way through because it is paced extremely well. You want to talk about well-pacing record. That record, I think, the song selection order on that record is almost near perfect. I don't see how you could do it better. So, great record, Imperium.
I have one more album for...
I got one more album. This worked out well.
This did work out well. One more album of the year for me. So I went on a musical journey because you mentioned how one band you like became popular because of TikTok. This was one I discovered through a TikTok. This was a weird mashup of the song "A Favor House Atlantic" by Coheed and Cambria mixed with the Mighty Mighty Bosch Tones' "The Impression That I Get." And I was like, hey, the singer can sing real high in really interesting ways, and I like some of the guitar work and some like the construction of the metal here. So I went on a very long musical journey of listening to every Coheed and Cambria album, which, if you don't know, every single Coheed and Cambria album is a concept album set in a fictional sci-fi universe that deals with something called the Amory Wars.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Except one, which is about raising a kid. Because he had a kid, so he wanted to talk about that for a bit, and then they got back.
Yeah, excuse me, guys. I know that we usually sing about the wars in space, but I feel like today we need to talk about the stress of fatherhood.
So the new album is part 2 of the new story arc. Vaxis Act 2, Window of a Waking Mind, is the latest album. It's following up the Act 1, Unheavenly Creatures, which was basically kind of like a soft reboot of their universe. It's a good starting point. It's their album that came out in 2018. And so Unheavenly Creatures begins with a like almost Star Wars-y prologue where it's setting up where the universe is at this moment and how most of the planets are actually corporate-owned space prisons. And it's set in the first song of the record is a 7-minute long track setting up this one space prison where we meet our main characters, and it's freaking awesome. And from there it becomes like a love story between like these two characters and their eventual son they'll have that will bring peace or something. I don't know. You just gotta listen to me. What I've discovered, I was very frustrated with the first few albums because I was trying to get the story, which you're not going to get just by listening to the albums. There's a lot of ancillary material. And there was a fun meme on that subreddit that was like Invincible meme where he's like, when do we have fun? That's the neat part. You don't. I was like, when do I understand the story? And that's the neat part. You don't. But yeah, Vaxis Act 2 is the second part of this story arc. It's a lot more synth heavy. Some like wild swings in the music catalog, going almost to like dance pop with like mixed with like prog rock stuff. It's a lot of fun, ending with like their like homage to like a Bohemian Rhapsody sort of thing, where it's an 8-minute like song with a lot of different like movements and everything as it's like changing genres, and it's like doing the story about how of this kid growing up to be like this savior of this universe in this act 2 of this 5-act story that's ongoing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of like leitmotifs that call back and like work its way into songs in a really interesting way. It was a lot of fun catching up with this band and getting really invested.
It's cool when you get to like find a band after they've already had a bunch of albums out, because then you get that experience of like going through the catalog and being like, okay, I'm gonna go through here and we'll see how they progress and stuff like that.
I did that with AFI last year because I loved like 2 or 3 of their albums like right in the middle of their catalog. So going back and listening to all of that and hearing that in concept made them go, oh yeah, AFI, top 5 band for me now. Black Sails in the Sun, getting off topic. Black Sails in the Sunset is an all-time punk record, and everybody should listen to that.
I actually will not argue that. They had some really good records. I like those early records. My last album is Glow On by Turnstiles. It actually came out in 2021, but I didn't discover it till this year. It is a weird hardcore record. It has a lot of stuff from like traditional hardcore, short song structure, a lot of the guitars and stuff like that, but then you talk about a lot of synth, a lot of soundscape stuff.
Mm-hmm. I listened to the album per your request.
Yeah, I actually like Turnstiles. I like this album a lot. They seem to be blowing up right now. They're on tour with Blink-182.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they've had a weird blow up.
If you got tickets to that thing.
Yeah, good luck. You probably paid too much. But yeah, big blow up. That album is technically from last year, but I didn't discover it till this year. It's really good.
I really like the songs Underwater Boy and New Heart Design.
Yeah,
are my 2 favorites from that.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. Another good paced record. It's a well paced record.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to like pitch? I'm gonna do my hello everybody. Welcome to Book Corner. Over here in Book Corner, we're gonna talk about books. Yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. You came to this video game podcast. Now you gotta listen about fucking books. Nah, I'm gonna do my top 5 books real quick. This year was I read about 42 books this year.
Holy cow, I read 1.
Yeah, read a lot of books. Also, Audible, very good for listening to audiobooks. Favorite books of the year. I Am Glad My Mother Is Dead by Jeanette McCurdy. Is a fascinating biography of Jeanette McCurdy, who is on the show iCarly, if you know that show.
Oh, but was she Sam?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is about her life and the experiences that she went through. It's very good. It kind of blew up this year when it came out. It's got a very striking title, obviously. And so
eye-catching. I would want to pick that up and be like, "What's this about?"
It's a good biography. I like a good biography, and that one really hit pretty well. I like Stephen King. I don't like every Stephen King novel, but I like.
I don't think there's anyone who likes every Stephen King novel. I mean, when you write like 500 books, there's going to be one that
he's going to have some stinkers. But his one for this year, Fairy Tale. Is a book about a young man discovering a well to another fairy tale universe. Is very, very good. It's probably one of my favorite books he's written in a long time. It is not a horror book by any means or nothing like that. When usually you associate that with Stephen King. It's very, very good. I highly, highly suggest it.
Is this going to be like a part 1 of the series? Because the last time he did fantasy was like around The Dark Tower, right? That was
it feels like a self-contained story.
Okay, that has me more.
I don't think he's going to go back into this universe at all. It wraps up pretty clean.
Okay.
It's a Stephen King novel. It has a lot of his tropes. But one of the things I really enjoyed about this particular book is in the first like quarter of the book is a lot of it's just like this young man's life in this town and the experiences he experiences. So by the time you get to the fantasy stuff, you understand this guy very, very like thoroughly. So it really makes you understand the decisions and how he acts in the world in which he's thrown into. Fairy Tale by Stephen King is very, very fucking good. So we do, biographies and Stephen King novels. Then we jump over to Eric's favorite fucking Warhammer novel of the year.
That's the next 5 on this list.
It could be. I read of the 40-some books I read this year. I would say probably 20 are Warhammer novels.
I'm gonna guess with no context. This has to do with the Horse Heresy.
No.
No, okay.
is Hell's Reach
by
Aaron Dusky Bowden. It is the one of the best books I've read of this year, so that says something. It is a wonderful novel about the defense of Hell's Reach during the Second War for Armageddon. You don't need to understand Warhammer in real in-depth knowledge to read Hell's Reach and understand that it is a story about heroic sacrifices, and that's all you really need to know. Understanding Warhammer will help you a little bit, but if you just know, like, hey, I like science fiction and I like cool shit, reading Hell's Reach is a good idea.
Yeah.
I love that book. The audio book is particularly great. It is read by a gentleman who is just a professional, man. He knows what he's fucking doing. And I had so many moments where I would just like sit in my car when I reached my destination just to finish the chapter, because he just... It's amazing. Hell's Reach is great. It's my favorite Warhammer novel I think I've read, period. So you had to have one of those on my top 5. This is a weird one, but I really enjoyed it. It did not come out this year, but I read it this year. This is How You Lose the Time War. It is a novel about 2 agents fighting a war that involves jumping back and forth in the timeline, but they are writing letters to each other. They're on opposite sides of this war, and it actually kind of is a love story. It's a love story.
I need to check this out.
Of these 2 people writing letters back and forth to each other. And it's actually it ends in a really kind of nice, kind of beautiful place, as these 2 people are both fighting each other, but then obviously one thing leads to another. It's like
if you combine the time traveler's wife with like Time Cop. It's what it sounds like.
They're fighting each other and leaving notes for each other in these extremely convoluted, crazy ways. But they are, when you've been fighting the same person for centuries, over time, I guess you learn to fall in love with each other.
I need to check this out. This sounds pretty freaking great.
It's very, very good.
Sounds like a Michael book.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I actually really, really enjoyed it. And then last but not least, surprise, motherfuckers! It's another Warhammer book.
I did not see this coming. I am shocked.
It's actually a 3-book series, but I read the omnibus. Aaron Dusky Bowden's The Night Lord's omnibus. That guy can write some freaking books. I put these on there because they're great novels no matter whether they are Warhammer novels or not. You can just like science fiction and read these. The Night Lord's omnibus of those 3 novels is about the worst possible people in the world. And yet they never stop being who they are, which are the worst freaking people in the world. But they are so well written, and you so understand them at the end of that book that they trick you into rooting for them. These are horrible people. Horrible, horrible, horrible people. But they are it's such an in-depth look at how these people think and how they act and why they do the things that they do, that they will sometimes trick you into cheering for them. And then they will go back to doing their horrible stuff, and you'll be like, But Talos, as the main character of those books, is just one of my favorite science fiction characters. And Aaron Dusky Bowden, who also wrote Hell's Reach, does just so much amazing work, and he's a great science fiction writer who works in the Warhammer 40k universe. Warhammer 40,000 has the advantage of having some amazing writers write for it. Dan Abnett, Aaron Dusky Bowden, there's a lot of amazing novels, but then there's also a lot of kind of chaff. There's a lot of stuff that's not as good. If you would like to ever get into that universe, I highly suggest finding someone who has maybe read 100 Warhammer novels, and have them help you.
We all have that one person in our life.
Yeah, but or you can just send it to stateofsave@gmail.com, and I'll send you back a list.
Eric will answer send in all your Warhammer questions, and maybe we can do an episode on Eric just answering Warhammer questions.
But it's a great, both of those, the Warhammer books, but they're just great science fiction novels.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, you got a biography of a child star, you got a Stephen King novel, you got stories of Space Marines, and then you got a love story written across time. Bet you didn't expect all that.
I started a lot of books this year. The only book I read and finished cover to cover was because I had a dynamite for the show. I read Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know you're still walking your way through the Kojima novel.
Yeah.
And then you there's several novels that I saw recently. When I was doing my monthly novel purchases, that I thought of you. Maybe we should do something like read some of these, like the Shriver books are very good. The Jason Shriver is his
Jason Schreier, yeah.
Schreier.
I love.
We read
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. You loaned that one to me. I read that one.
Let me know if you want to read his follow-up book that I've read. The one I forgot the name of it, but it's the one about the studio closures.
Yeah, I think that one would be interesting.
That one hurts a lot more than Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
And then Cliff Bleszinski just released a book, apparently. I don't know if it's any good. Probably isn't. I'll probably read it anyway. So book talk is over.
All right.
Didn't see that one coming, did you? Hey, gamers. Why don't you sit down? Let's talk about some books.
Enjoy your reading.
Never have I felt like an old man more than right now. Let's talk about... Hey, it's almost like these things are divided up in 30-minute chunks.
What?
I don't know if you noticed that, but let's end the show on stuff we're excited about in the world of video games. We'll go back to video games, I guess, for 2023. Because there was a ton of stuff to be excited about.
Yes, there is.
We talked about the Game Awards.
Yes.
Where there was just a ton of reveals. Dude. Video games looking pretty cool, man, coming up. What's some stuff? I'm
going to get an Armored Core.
Armored Core? You
You
went ahead and purchased Armored Core 4.
I'm attempting to purchase Armored Core 4 because I had to make the call fast because I was watching Waypoint's discussion because they had Austin Walker on, who's a big Armored Core aficionado. So, of course, everyone was asking him, we want to play 6. Where do we start this series? So he went all in about each Armored Core technically has its own mostly has its own continuity. Like for example, Armored Core 3 has multiple games that branch off from Armored Core 3. Armored Core 4 has Armored Core 4 Answer, and Armored Core 5 has Armored Core Verdict Day that kind of all span from that. And he said if you want to, what would probably be the best one to start with for Armored Core 6 is probably Armored Core 4, because that one has a lot of the high-flying mech stuff, but it's also the first game that Miyazaki, who's known from the Dark Souls series, directed. So this is where he was a planner on games before this, but this is one that he was actually directing and called the shots for.
It's the first one that his vision might be the most upfront.
Yeah, and the sequel had for Answer had a moment that was imagine the Rodan fight from Elden Ring, but with giant freaking robots, where you're moving 100 miles an hour across this desolate environment as a giant basically Arsenal gear is coming into view, just not shooting a bunch of stuff at you. That's when I was this series looks freaking great. But he also gave the caveat of there's a reason this series is not a critical darling. You kind of have to meet this series, especially older FromSoft games, halfway. You will get what you put into them, but it's going to take a lot of... This is not going to play how you think this should play. You gotta spend some time to get the hang of it.
Well, it's a reason why FromSoft didn't become what they are during the Armored Core days. If it took Souls and Elden Ring to make them, this big player There's a reason why they wasn't that doing Armored Core. If Armored Core was, what we kind of want it to be, then they would have already been, blown up.
So I dug around on Google shopping today, and I found the one guy who was still selling Armored Core 4 for $20. Because that thing after Armored Core 6, all those games jumped in value, like, overnight. It's freaking insane. To the point where, if I pull up Armored Core, 4 now on eBay, like I just did, the top entry is $90 for a complete in box. A lot of people selling the instruction manual. Ooh, someone must have did a buy it now of one, because I saw one that was just a disc for $75 that had Sharpie scribble on the front. So I'm hopeful. I'm terrified because my order from this video game shop who has a Google listing in Florida, it still says order processing. So hopefully they don't realize what's going on and cancel my order.
That'd be really shitty if they did.
I'm like, come on, please. But I'm also wondering, I can see that listing is still up there. I'm wondering if they just got a million people paying $20 for the same copy of Armored Core.
Possible.
Which is possible. But
I guess we need to maybe ride up to our local video game and see if they have any Armored Cores.
I have a backup plan if I can't play 4. The only game that is not, this is very hard to find these games. The only game that is not delisted from the PS3 store is the current game, Armored Core 5 Verdict Day, the sequel to Armored Core 5. And apparently that still has a dedicated following still playing online. But those games are more built for online play than 4 is. So, but yeah, I haven't talked about the Armored Core 6 trailer. That trailer looks freaking sweet. It looks great. There's a robot with dual Gatling guns that are burning red hot, and then another robot just busts through a wall.
It's that's a mech game is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And God, I hope they stick the landing. I just hit my microphone. I was so excited. God, I hope they stick the landing on that thing. It looks so damn good.
They're going back, and you read the reports. They're going back to mission-based stuff, so not an open world thing. They specifically say mission-based, authored experience.
That makes sense though for that kind of game. I don't really want to explore an open world in a mech game.
Yeah,
I want to be, because that's not how mechs work. Mechs get deployed for missions.
Yeah, I want to fight things that are galaxy sized almost in my tiny little mech. I want to. Apparently there's a lot of emphasis on each mission, just changing out your loadout, getting killed and being that didn't work. Maybe if I have a shotgun arm instead of a sword arm, maybe I can get further in this mission. So I will update you guys in 2 weeks if my copy of Armored Core 4 shipped for the Xbox 360.
If not, we're gonna blow up that guy's social media. We're gonna be like, listen, motherfucker, we paid for this $25 game.
M&M Video Games in Florida.
Well, you gotta throw them on the bus now. They haven't done anything to us yet.
No, but because we might lift them up if they decide to follow through on this. Please, guy, if you are, if this one dude who runs this video game shop and listening, please ship my order. I really want to play Armored Core 4. I don't want to pay $75 for Armored Core 4. I might have to settle for a $30 Japanese copy that I won't understand for the PlayStation 3.
It's a tough game to play in Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine not knowing going in for a first-person shooter. You can kind of figure out a mech game where you're digging through menus to try to equip arms and stuff. Being I don't know which one's the shotgun arm. We're gonna have to have some fun with this one.
I know it's probably not 2023, but I'm still gonna talk about it because it was at the Game Awards. Ken Levine's next game.
Judas.
Dude, I did not know how excited I would be at the concept of that man coming back. But right when I watched that trailer, I was like, yeah, this is fucking Ken Levine right here. This is Ken Levine as a Ken Levine game. And I realized how excited I was at that. That game looks really, really interesting. It looks fascinating. And I'm very excited about his return to video games.
It looks pretty great. I like the going over the cast of villains and everything. I gotta escape with one of these people. I don't know what it's gonna be like. It does looks very, very Bioshocky, of course, but I'm very interested to the point where on our, not to get too inside baseball, on our must play list, I wrote System Shock 2 because I'm we'll see, maybe we'll
see.
got me excited for something like that. So
no, I'm very excited about Ken Levine being back. Yeah, just a ton of stuff, dude. I mean, RE4 remake obviously comes out in March.
Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, there was a new trailer for Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6 is gonna be, dude. June can't get here soon.
Ah, man, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for Street Fighter 6. It looks so good.
I did not get in that second beta. I was refreshing my emails for an hour. No.
Even that, and then like fighting games in general, because Tekken's coming back.
Oh, that looks so good. The chain is the 8. The chain breaks and makes the 8.
I watched that trailer. I was like, I don't understand any of this, but it's cool. I don't understand what is happening.
I watched New Giant Bomb has their like hits and misses, but they did a really good series of them ranking every single Tekken ending, and so they're trying to digest the story as it's happening. So that's where I got most of my Tekken story. It's pretty crazy. Lee has an ending where he is hitting exploding golf balls at the Mishima family, which
makes sense.
Which is pretty good.
Dude, yeah, fighting games coming back hard with Street Fighter 6 and Tekken. Street Fighter 6, man, nothing I've seen out of that game has made me anything but excited. New characters were revealed. All of them looked interesting and cool. What are you laughing at?
The year of the muscle lady.
Listen, man, the muscle mamas are taking over, all right? I'm very excited. I was like, yeah, let's do this shit. Judging me.
Because I knew that was going to be a...
Yeah. Damn. You blew my mind now because I had to defend myself.
No defense, I'm just saying.
Okay, I gotta do it. I gotta fucking do it. Space Marine 2, man. Space Marine 2 is coming out. I'm very excited about that. From Focus. I'm playing through Space Marine 1 right now because I finally got a copy from our friendly neighborhood retro video game shop. Space Marine 2 looks amazing. We finally got gameplay footage. It looks really damn good. That's a day one purchase for me. Hopefully this year we'll get Darktide on consoles because I don't know what the fuck happened there, but Darktide's on PC right now, but I can't play it on my Xbox Series X. Good year for Warhammer titles, it looks like. Blood Bowl 3 coming out.
Blood Bowl 3!
It's a lot of Warhammer stuff coming out, but it's really, really cool.
That Warhammer Doom clone...
Bolt gun?
Bolt gun, yeah.
I think that's supposed to be this year. I have heard nothing about that since that trailer. But yeah, I think it's this year also. What's some other stuff coming out?
Final Fantasy 16.
Yes,
that looks cool. I don't know if you watched like the Game Awards trailer for that.
I did all the trailers.
That one looks really fascinating. I know it's not gonna be your thing, but the fact that it's gonna have like really sweet combat and like the story is taking like a more darker tone and everything, I'm like all on board for.
Listen, it's not my thing, but it's still exciting that we're in a year where we have a new Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. We have a new Bethesda game. We have, a new Street Fighter. We have a new, we have all these big franchises coming out with big releases. It just feels like a substantial year.
And even like big stuff for niche people like us. Like we forgot the big one, Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 comes out this year.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. They haven't said anything.
This year. I imagine it would be late in the year. Because, we haven't really seen anything.
Halloween would be great.
Yeah, dude, release that thing at Halloween.
I'm going to spoil the week because we talked about it before, but that's going to be one for... We never play new games for the show. That's going to be one that we pick up.
Alan Wake 2 would be played
I don't know if we'll find a way to divide that or if we'll just play through it and then have like a 4-hour podcast to just dive into
Alan Wake 2 will be played.
We'll figure that out. If it's like a 20-hour thing, we'll be like, all right, we'll
figure something
play it.
out.
Yeah. We're going to have a big
I'm so excited for Alan Wake 2. I haven't even seen much of it, but I'm just it's
the fact that it exists makes me happy, and the fact that he said survival horror, just like let's do this.
Man, survival horror is making a comeback because there was several things shown off at E3 this year. That was like survival horror just seems to be on a big thing. Now I know Callisto Protocol, which came out recently, to mixed reviews to say the least. I still want to fiddle with that. I still want to play it. But I'm hoping that, you know, with RE4 and then Alan Wake 2, and I just hope we have a good survival horror year, because that's one of my favorite genres.
We weren't very hot on the first game, surprisingly, but that Dead Space remake looks all right. So
we'll see. I'm not anti it. Dead Space is not. I don't hate Dead Space, despite where it's at on the list. But
I shrug and go, it's fine.
It's fine.
I like it. All right.
I need to play Dead Space 2 to see if that's why. I think it's a Batman situation for me, where Batman Arkham Asylum situation. Yeah. Kill the Justice League.
Kevin Conroy's final performance as Batman.
I am fascinated in that game. The stuff I've seen has really. I go back and forth. I've seen some stuff that I liked, and then I saw a lot of stuff that just really didn't connect with me. I don't know how I actually feel about how those characters are being
I feel like
done.
The trailer they shown was just so they could show off the Kevin Conroy's Batman, because it's having that weird scene that had no connection to anything we've seen so far. But at the same time, if they were going to do a Batman reveal, that was the scene I guess they had to do.
It felt like, hey man, we was going to show something else, but because of the circumstances, let's do the Batman stuff. It didn't show very well for me. I was kind of like, but I get why they did it.
Yeah.
I hope that game's good, especially after Gotham Knights maybe not being good.
I like Sunset Overdrive. It kind of looks like Sunset Overdrive in a way.
Yeah, it looks like Sunset Overdrive a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that.
Listen to this segue. Speaking of Sunset Overdrive, made by Insomniac Games, the newest Insomniac Spider-Man game. It didn't get a release date, but they say it's coming out in fall of 2023 as of today. I'm very excited for the Spider-Man sequel.
I mean, I didn't think it would be 2023, but that's fucking cool that it is. Mm-hmm. Just add that to a stacked year.
Especially with some of the stuff they've set up in this universe. I'm really excited of where they're going to go from it. Because we know from the first trailer that, of course, Venom is going to be a thing, and not to spoil if you haven't played Spider-Man 1, but they tease Venom in a way that is completely different from how I've ever seen him done in the comics, which has me interested to see. There's a million Spider-Man comics, but not from the mainstream.
It's not the mainstream version of Venom, necessarily.
It's in a way that has me very fascinated with where they're going to go with this particular story. One of the definitive now Spider-Man universes for me. It was Marvel Spider-Man, and how they handled those. The way they wrote those characters was spectacular. No pun intended.
What the Batman Arkham Asylum series or Arkham series did for Batman is what they're doing with Spider-Man right now. Mm-hmm. And I know they haven't. They're still making them, but it's that all the versions of this character and taking all those different versions and molding it into a definitive Spider-Man. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And listen, they're killing it.
The writing is really good. I was in tears at the end of that thing. It emotionally wrecked me. Yeah. And the moment of realizing, now again, no spoilers, that Spider-Man holds himself to a higher standard that we want to aspire to be, but we can never be. Because a choice that he has to make at the end of the thing was I wouldn't have made that choice, but he was strong enough to. I couldn't have done that.
What sold me on their version of Spider-Man was him on the subway.
Yeah.
Spider-Man being linked to the people of New York City and being a New Yorker more than, just a superhero is one of the definitive, characteristics of him, right? He's more than he's not just a superhero. He's a New Yorker. He loves that city. You can't take Spider-Man out of New York. You can put Iron Man doing stuff in Paris and it'll be fine. Spider-Man needs to be in New York. That's his thing.
I'm gonna have you borrow Nick's PC so we can play Spider-Man for the show.
I've been thinking about trying to get a PS4 just so I can play that and God of War.
God of War.
There's so many games I missed out on the PlayStation generation, and
I have not started God of War because I'm like, someday we will play that for the show because
God of War is tailor-made for me. I know it is.
Yeah, 100%.
If I make any like statements on like, listen, I like the Xbox platform. But I also wish you could play everything on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But God of War is a franchise I hate that I'm missing out on because I do love what I've seen of those two games. It's a game about Greek mythology and fatherhood. That's
even more your thing. These new ones are Norse mythology.
Yeah, it's Norse mythology too.
Yeah.
So it's Norse mythology, Greek mythology, and fatherhood. That's just an Eric game. That's all it is. So yeah, I hate that I'm not being able to play that. I gotta get myself a way to play those. You want to talk about Starfield?
Let's talk about Starfield.
Shockingly enough, for a game that's been hyped for so long, of all the games we've talked about for 2023, Starfield's on there, but it's not as high as I would have thought.
Because it could go. This could go.
It could go one of two ways.
Hit amazingly, or it could just be like, that's another thing.
And it's a bigger deal that it's coming out a year where there seems to be so much.
If this came out,
if it came out this year, it'd be a bigger deal. But it's coming out next year where there's so much stuff coming that you can't help but be like, okay, yeah, Starfield's coming. But so is 10 other games I'm excited for. I mean, we don't even talk about indie stuff right now. Like, we're just talking about big releases.
Well, indies usually are a weird thing because those come up a lot in, like, showcases, or those will surprise you. Like, the only, like, I guess, indie game that has, like, any, like, I guess, hype behind it for 2023 is Hades 2. And that's just built entirely on Supergiant's reputation as a studio and how great Hades 1 was. I
mean, Hades was great, and then also, yeah, the fact that it's the first Supergiant game to actually get a sequel, and man, that freaking art style, man,
goes
like
so hard.
Whoever their character design artist is needs to do an art book. Because
I have a little mini Hades like character art book that came. I wanted to get it on physical when I found out that there was like just a character book, just flipping through that mini thing and seeing all those characters.
The art style in it is damn near perfect. Yeah, Hades 2. Yeah,
all the effects on screen are just like so beautiful.
It made me want to. It did the right thing. It made me want to go play Hades. I saw the trailer and went like, motherfucker, I need to go back and play some Hades. So, like, I need to maybe play that on Xbox. I played it originally on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Might know what I'm doing tonight. But then I can't play High on Life anymore.
Have you been playing High on Life?
Dude, I played like 5 hours of High on Life. You want to talk about High on Life real quick?
We got a few minutes.
We got 7 minutes. You want to talk about High on Life?
Let's talk about High on Life.
You ever play Oddworld's Stranger's Wrath?
I know of it.
Okay. High on Life. Okay, I like Rick and Morty. I don't base my entire life or personality around Rick and Morty. I also know that Rick is the asshole and you're not supposed to like Rick. Dan Harmon is a very key member of that duo.
Yes.
When you take him away and you just leave Justin Roiland but to his own devices, I don't think that's a good thing. Like, there is a meter. You can turn down how much people talk in that game. You can go to the options and say they need to talk less or talk more. Because it really just depends on how much you can tolerate of Justin Roiland's shenanigans.
That seems to be the feature of the year because I played Forspoken and that thing had the same sliders. Like, you want the main character and her gauntlet to talk less? You can do that.
I sit there. The game has some interesting stuff. I've played through the first like 2 bosses on the 3rd boss because you're doing like bounty hunt.
Yeah.
It just sometimes I sit there and I go, boy, Dan Harmon brings a lot to that show, and I just don't think that Justin by himself is what I want. Because he does, like, I mean, your gun is fucking Morty. Like, the voice is Morty.
Yeah.
And it's like he does what I feel is all the same kind of stuff. And when you take away some of the writing that kind of can make it have a little bit more weight to it, you just have him doing his voices. And that can become grating pretty damn fast. And every once in a while it hits. Every once in a while it does hit. Like every once in a while it'll be a sequence in there that I think is kind of funny. But a lot of times it's just like, God damn, man, I get it. This guy's face makes fart sounds. Okay, yeah, this is a kid who curses a lot. Like, it just feels like... But then they'll have moments like, hey, man, for some weird reason, we got the license to this Denise Richards movie. So in your house, one of the alien guys, he just likes watching movies, so you can just walk in, he's watching Denise Richards in a movie. And you can just sit down and watch the whole movie on the couch.
That reminds me of, like, was it The Darkness, where you could just sit down and watch, like, an old movie from the 40s?
Yeah, but here you can watch a movie with Denise Richards and Paul Walker. Because, of course, you can. And it's like, every once in a while, that stuff's like, this is kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I give you credit. Kind of funny. But then it's like, here's a knife that talks, and just like, stab me, stab me, stab me in the paper. Ah! And it's like, I get it, man. When I found out that he did the episodes, the interdimensional cable episodes of Rick and Morty, that the first one was him just getting progressively blacked out drunk and just going off the top of his head, and they animated whatever he said, is when I realized that maybe he's not best when he's left to his own devices.
I still get a kick out of Ants in My Eyes Johnson. I got a remix of that
Like
pops
said,
up every once in a while.
Every once in a while, he hits. He hit. I think the problem is it's all him. It's like 99% him. So every time it does hit, there's like 90% that doesn't. I don't hate that game like some people do. Some people are like really vehemently hating on it.
I watched Jeff Gerstmann's stream of it.
And it's not terrible. And the gameplay itself kind of reminds me of like Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. That's why I brought it up. Well, guns walk weird, especially once you get the second gun. Like, I got the one that's like a needler gun, but then it has the ability that if you melee, they explode if you shoot them, or you can shoot a time bubble and shoot them inside the time bubble with a bunch of needles, and then it all accelerates and blows up the whole bubble.
That sounds
like,
pretty
it's
good.
got some cool gameplay mechanic. There is some cool, like, there's little puzzle stuff and some transfer. You can use the knife to ride over on rails and shit. So it actually has some interesting gameplay stuff, but it depends on how much you can tolerate of him.
What's crazy was I believe it was either Grubb or Schreier that was saying that this was one of the games that was being developed for Stadia as a Stadia exclusive, and then Microsoft came and like bought it whenever the rights were like floating around. Does this feel like a game that Google would put a bunch of money behind?
Yes, because it doesn't feel like 100% a AAA title. Like, characters don't move super smooth. And, like, you see, like, you have your sister, who's, like, one of the few human characters in the game, and she just doesn't look right. She doesn't move right. She doesn't talk right. It's like the weird alien stuff animates a lot better than she does. And it's weird. I can't put my finger on it. I would love to like know more behind the scenes of this game. I don't know why I keep playing it, but I think I might finish it just because I have to know. I have to know what High on Life is.
5 hours in. How long is it?
I don't
Do
know.
you know?
I don't know if I'm 5 hours in. I've done at least 3, because I'm done 2 out of 3. I've done almost 3 bosses. And you don't do the bosses till you do like a 20-minute thing. I don't know how long. How long is it? Tell me how long it is.
It's 8 hours.
Shit, man, I can finish this thing.
Yeah, so you're probably at the halfway point.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm glad. That seems like the right length for this. Because if it was like 16, 17 hours, I'd be
We'll
like, I don't
see.
know, man.
We'll see. We're gonna see. But yeah,
You're one like over long joke away from bouncing.
yeah. If he does one long, because sometimes he'll go on these little monologues where it's just them talking, and like there was a whole sequence in which your sister, you, and the gun are just talking about a guy who's crashing on your couch, and like it just keeps going. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. I get it. You're in the studio having a ball, but I get it. I just don't think I like him when he's separate from Dan Harmon, personally.
I mean, look what happened to Community when Dan Harmon wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, shit went bad. But, yeah, that's Time of Life. You want to wrap it up?
Let's do it.
StateOfTheSave@gmail.com is the email address. You can send us your thoughts on 2022. Tell us your favorite stuff. We'll talk to you back about whether we liked it too. If you tell us something that's cool, maybe we'll check it out. At State of the Save on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Definitely hit us up on all of those. Yeah. We got another holiday special where we do the rankings coming up. That should be fun. And then we got season 4.
I love the rankings. I get frustrated with the rankings every year, but it's like my favorite thing to do for this show.
It's going to be fun. As always, stay safe out there.